Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live. It's Wednesday night with me and you guys. Tonight we got an exciting show that I believe some people are going to be surprised about on my stance on everything that happened with Indian. Indian motorcycles, to be honest. Pretty thing that happened that Polaris sold their rights, not all of them, but most of them sold their rights to Indian motorcycles. They have dumped Indian because they needed cash flow. That's right. They needed the cash flow, and the parent company that bought Indian has really stepped up, and I believe that they will be do a great thing for the brand. Hello, Robert Bacuccio. Hello, FaZe. Good to see you. Les, what's going on? Les, I dropped the link in. Throttle and Iron, I dropped the link in. Let's talk about this. But before we do, let's bring up a couple articles that I found that are very, very interesting. Buck Brown's in the house. What's going on? Good to see you. So let me share the screen, and then we'll go over this together. All right. So we'll try and make this bigger. Let's see. There you go. So you guys can read along with me. Polaris, the parent company Polaris, announced today, being on Monday, that they sold a majority stake in the motorcycle manufacturer to a Los Angeles-based private equity firm. That's right, a private equity firm that has stakes in other motorcycle endeavors, such as Revzilla, Cycle Gear, and JP Cycles. Now I'm going to dip their toe in the motorcycle business of selling motorcycles, right? The deal is expected to close the first quarter of 2026, so it has not really happened yet. And the new independent Indians will be led by CEO Mike Kennedy. Let's bring in Chris from Throttle and Iron, our resident expert. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? What's up?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Sweet.
Mike Kennedy comes from Rumble On. I don't know if you guys remember Rumble On. They were like the Carvana for motorcycle world. You could sell your motorcycle to them, and then they go around to the different rallies trying to sell them motorcycles. I don't think it really took off that well as it should have, but hey, they tried. And I thought it was a good try too. But to me, when I looked at the prices, they were a little inflated. What do you think of that, Chris?
Yeah, I think you're you're kind of right. I mean, I know we're going to get into a lot of it tonight. I just came in here. I wasn't prepared, so
that's okay.
It's all good.
I saw you in the side chat. I'm like, here's a resident expert for Indian. I'm not an expert in Indian.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer Indian has a place in the community. I believe it makes the community better. As far as competition for Harley Davidson, they push and feed off of each other to make their brands better. I mean, from the time of 1953, when Indian was no longer producing motorcycles, that Harley really didn't do much as far as innovation. They just stayed with the status quo.
Yeah. Competition makes everybody better, right? So where would Harley Davidson be, without Indian the last couple of years, pushing them to get that new infotainment center, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, that's, I'll tell you the truth. I don't think they really wanted to change at all, because they were actually going to the direction of like environmental motorcycles. And then, their sales started getting hit a little bit here and there from Indian. And they had to make a decision, right? So
exactly. And, I think it's quite awesome that, this private equity firm is actually digging in and picked up the brand, or actually bought most of the rights to, pretty
much everything. Yeah. The design team in Switzerland, the two warehouse, the manufacturer, that they got in, Spirit Lake. There's another one, I think, at another location. So they're going to keep everything basically, and they're going to have the 900 employees also, which is going to be good.
900 American employees.
Yeah.
Keyword, American employees keeping Americans working, which I think is key.
And a lot of people, audition this company that actually took over the majority, but they have never sold an asset ever.
No, no.
So they're in for it for the long run.
Yeah, they're the private equity firm, which means they're in it for the equity to make a profit. However, if they don't see a profit in it within 5 years, I'm sure they're going to be looking to sell it as well. I know Polaris made a profit of it when they first started with Indian. That's why they shut down Victory, because for every Victory they were selling, they sold 3 Indians. Now, Polaris has come into some financial trouble where the money could be better suited from the sale to put back into what they do best, off-road vehicles and water sport vehicles.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people are missing the point. All themselves, all the manufacturers are losing, well, not losing money, but their profits are going down and that kind of stuff. So when they have to really, because Indian was only like 7% of their sales. So if they look at it and say, we need to focus on our core brands, what do we need to do to raise some money? Indian was the perfect thing. It's not losing money. It's only doing I think it's like $375,000 last year for Indian. But they needed that influence of money to because if you look at Polaris stuff, it's kind of dated now, especially in some of their off-road vehicles.
And I don't know if you remember this, Chris. I was about a month or so ago, I was on Throttle Irons Live, and we were talking about it, and I says, the rumor mill on the street is Polaris is looking to sell or dump the Indian line. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That rumor mill has really fed out to be true. But I am glad it's not to the point where, they just says, well, you know what? We're done. Goodbye. See you so long. Sucks to be you if you want an Indian. Yeah. No, they actually went the smart business route, which was, hey, let's sell all the assets. We'll keep a little portion for ourselves so we can keep a little income coming in, little residuals, but we'll sell the majority of them out and, and bring some positive cash flow into the company.
Yeah. And that's what I'm looking forward to is, this is an investment firm. They're going to invest. Yes, they're going to be looking at certain things to kind of tighten things up, but they're going to keep the IMRG. I don't know about the racing yet. I think that's be a bad mistake if they didn't keep the racing, because I think it's very competitive. I mean, every day, which I said this on my podcast last night, every time I mention the King of the Baggers, most of the time they don't even know there's a King of the Bagger race. And once they start talking about it, they are very interested in it. Harley or Indian riders.
Yeah. I mean, King of the Baggers, I mean, it's 2 brands. Really.
It's getting bigger. Yep.
Yeah. And now they've got Moto America or something like that. Harley's getting involved in. But I could see Indian following suit with
I think
that.
Les wants to get in on this chat too. I don't know if you saw there. It looks like he's
I can put the link back out there for Les to get in on this.
If he wants to, it's up to him. We're not going to tag team here. We're all brothers here.
Exactly.
I met Dr. Harley down there and
Smoky Mountain Bike Week.
Yep, it was great. Great to meet you.
Absolutely, it was. I recognize you guys coming down. It was awesome to see you guys shake your hands. Talk to you and your ladies. It was awesome.
Yeah,
but I'm really not surprised Polaris did this. Like I said, about a month and a half ago, the rumor on the street was that was going to happen. And unfortunately, or fortunately, it did. Only time will tell, I'm glad it's not the normal history of Indian of the here today, gone tomorrow. But they're here to stay. And I'm glad to see them here to stay because it's good for the community. Because like you said, competition is good.
And I think, one of the things I see in the forums, you got a lot of people that are showing, support Harley Davidson and Indian. And then you got them ones that they're just like, oh, they're going to be just like Victory in 2 years. They're going to be done, that kind of stuff. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is going to be a long-term investment for this company. They have never failed. So you think they will want to? I mean,
yeah. Think about it. Here it is, right on the Revzilla website, which, by the way, the private equity firm owns as well.
Yeah.
As well as JP Cycles and Cycle Gear.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you have the RPM points now that all three of them, if you link them together, you could get points from each website into one big point pool. But here they are putting it on their own website, on their own, one of their own entities, saying we're going to do it. It's also on a Minnesota news channel. Let's see. I could bring that one up too.
And I think they got a heck of a CEO too.
Yeah, they brought in a CEO who, the new CEO they're bringing in, he was with Harley Davidson, came from Rumble On,
Vance and Hines,
and so on and so on. I mean, I think this private equity firm also owns Legend Suspension.
And they also own a social media company that's in the business of promoting all these businesses they have, which is they're all one package, you know.
Yeah,
they can do it all. So
yeah. The Rolling Throttle says now we're dealing with Indian guys. Indian didn't sell motorcycles; they sold merchandise with wheels.
Oh, geez.
I mean, so does Harley. I mean, Harley rather sell jackets and T-shirts all day long and anything with their brand on it over a motorcycle because that's where they make most of the profit.
That's where the margin is. Yes.
Yeah.
Parts, labor, margin. Yeah. They don't want you to do your own oil change in your garage. They want you to come to the dealership. That's the reason why it costs $400. It only costs like maybe $125 really to do it, you know, with the supplies and stuff. But most people don't feel comfortable doing that, so they go to the dealership, or they don't do it at all, and you buy one of them bikes one of these days, and very long.
Yep. It's really, I mean, think about it. How many people do you see walking around wearing a Harley Davidson shirt or T-shirt or something, and they don't even own a motorcycle, have a motorcycle license? And now, same thing with the Indian stuff. People are buying all that stuff.
Yep.
You know, as Big Mike here says, the Harley Davidson flamethrower. Yes.
I think it's good. I think it's going to be good for, you know, Harley Davidson and Indian. I think a lot of people, you know, I think Indian kind of misjudged Harley Davidson with their new technology about, you know, what is it, almost 2 years ago. And they just can't find enough money into reinventing Indian a little bit and doing their core at the same time. So I think it was a good decision for them. And, you know, they found a partner that's going to take Indian to the next level, it looks like.
Exactly. I'm kind of excited to see what's going on because Indian came out with that 111 motor, and that's where it stayed. Am I wrong?
Well, there was rumors because I just came from Jack Daniels, the last Indian event this year, and there was rumors that there was a 131 Thunderstroke coming out, but I don't know that. I mean, I think it's still coming. I think this delayed that coming out, but that's going to be a hell of an engine if that does come out.
Exactly. That I think that would really be exciting in the King of the Baggers world too, and as well as on the street. You know, okay. Buck Browns have had a 116 on my Indian from the factory since 2022. They were available in 2019. See that? I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah, the 116 has been on there. The Thunderstroke, yes. Now the Power Plus was only a 108.
Yep.
Until recently this year.
So now we got Les, another Indian guru. What's going on, Les?
Welcome, partner crime.
That's it. They got the Throttle and Iron channel is here. All we need now is Max. Oh wait, Max doesn't show up.
Yeah, we had a great time last night on the podcast. It was really good.
Yeah, I was in the side chat listening and commenting.
Yeah.
But this has been the buzz of
it is the buzz.
YouTube and all the social medias that, you know, Polaris sold, Polaris dumped, blah, blah, blah. And they're not wrong. They sold it. They got rid of it because they needed cash. but they sold it to a company, I believe, that will take Indian to the next level. That, you know, they're not going to be called the Victory with Indian badges anymore. I've heard that many times, especially when they first came out. But it's going to be, it's exciting. I'm excited about it. I really am. I don't know if you could tell. And I'm a Harley guy, and I'm excited about what's coming for Indian's future.
Yeah, if you look at Vance and Hines, right? I mean,
Yep.
great aftermarket company. That's what the CEO, he ran that, you know, so he put them in that position. He also was 26 years with Harley, so he knows the the workarounds in Harley and that kind of stuff, and he knows their direction kind of.
Why did they want to go with a
Mhm.
golf guy who did pizzas at one point, or you know, guy who did, you know, sneakers, or, you know, suits or dresses? You know, I mean, that's Harley's MO.
Yeah.
Doesn't do them any good.
Now you could play some golf.
Well, you know, that's been, hey, in 27, you buy a new CVO, you get 2 large pies and a set of golf clubs.
I mean, I like Harley. I almost bought a Harley many times, actually. I test rode them. I test rode the new ones. I love the CBOs, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I just couldn't afford the house payment on it. And I think that's what's missing with a lot of people is that, you know, if you're a beginning rider, you just don't go out and buy a $57,000 motorcycle.
No.
All right. And if you want a new rider, and which I think Harley's finally getting there. I mean, they're going to have a low price motorcycle next year, but they got to have some kind of offering. And there's no way that motorcycle costs that much, you know?
No. I mean, the only reason why I have a CVO, and I don't hide it from anybody, I bought in 2019, I bought a Road Glide Special. I paid $29,000 for it. All right.
Mike, unless your mic is muted or something.
I can't unmute his mic. It's on his end.
Oh, there it is.
So I had the bike 3 years. I put 15,000 miles on it. I traded it in. They gave me $28,000 on trade. So I had the bike for 3 years and only cost me $1,000. That's how I can afford my CVO.
Yeah, it looks like it's on your end, Les. No, we can't hear you. When you're using new software like that, just make sure you got the right driver going to the right input. That's usually what happens.
Oh,
So we'll try. Yep, he'll figure it out.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. We got to get him a
Oh yeah, he is very smart with lots of stuff, man.
Yes, he is. But I think it's awesome that this is happening. I'm excited for Indian, what's coming down the pike and what will be available. Let's see. Now we got no video.
Oh, I see him. It's still not working. I'm sorry. It's got to be something with your.
He must be on an Apple.
Yeah, when it asks you to make sure your default is whatever you need it to be. But anyway, so what's your? I can't see how many people you have online.
We got 34 people watching right now.
So what's their opinion out there? You know, I mean, you know, do they think Indiana's going to survive? You know, put a yes out there. Yeah,
I think they will. Yeah. I think it's, like I said, I think it's going to be an exciting venture for the new company that picked them up. Les, what do you think?
If he could.
Okay. See,
he's trying to figure it out.
That, yes, it will be it's a good thing, you know.
Yep. I think competition, you know, drives innovation, you know, and I know a lot of Harley's riders, you know, didn't like some of the new technology, but man, I'm telling you, it's badass. I'm a technology kind of person, you know, and I know there's a lot of bugs here and there, but that's with anything that comes out. So Harley's got, you know, it's like the Cadillac right now. India's pretty close, but they need to work on their infotainment system and that kind of stuff. And maybe do some stuff where they can put some T-bars on them Challengers. But I mean, it's still a good bike. I mean, I've had 3 Indians, never had a problem out of any of them. You know,
Well,
never been
I've
on the side of
had
the
many
road.
Harleys, and
Mhm.
honestly, I only got stranded once, and that's because of a plastic clip that broke off a plastic part and
Yeah, it's
almost
not
caused an
working.
electrical fire, but I fixed it, but that was the only time.
There we go.
Les,
that
Can
time.
you hear me? Can you hear
Oh,
me
there we
now?
go. Yep.
Sweet. It was
Les, I want to hear your thoughts, Mr.
Mhm.
Anti-Indian. I mean,
He's had a Harley before, so he knows all about
Oh
that.
man, yeah. I've had just about every make and model that is out there. So well, I've done a little bit of research, and I can tell you in my professional career, I've actually been involved when private equity has purchased a company, or at least assisted in a company with a loan. So in every case, it's been a positive experience for me. The first time was a loan to the company that I worked for to get them through a cash-strapped period. Came out on the backside of that, very, very good shape. The second one was where a portion of the company that I worked for was spun off to private equity, and they took that and they grew the company and just made it 3 times the size what it was. The company I currently work for was sold to private equity a few years ago as an operating group. There were 3 different operating companies. They sold off 2 of them and then laser focused on the one single company that I work for now. And each time it's been very good. So there's a concentration of effort and funds and staffing and things like that. So my experience has all been positive. So for me, I believe it's going to be good for Indian, because this really takes away the I don't want to say animosity. That's kind of a negative tone, but it takes away the whole, hey, we're part of Polaris, this great big large group of companies. Now we're Indian Motorcycles. So I think they're going to have a lot of focus and a lot of drive to really make the company succeed. I think it's going to be better for them.
yeah, I agree. Now, what I'm hoping for is them to expand their dealer network.
Mhm.
I mean, in Connecticut, I know of one. And I know there's one in the whole state of Massachusetts of an Indian dealer. And I know if I take my bike on a cross-country trip, off of every major highway, there within 20 miles, there's a Harley dealership, at least every 50, 100 miles, about maybe up to 20 miles off the highway. I have a great dealer network and resources for me while I'm on a road trip, where if I was on an Indian, that dealer network really isn't there. And I'm hoping with this new ownership that they have, that they would, invest in some dealer network to, and to me, that's my only drawback of owning an Indian is there really is no dealer network.
Sure. I see that a lot on forums and on chats and things like that. People make note of the lack of dealers and proximity of dealers. At least to this point, now I'm on my fourth Indian. I'm approaching 100,000 miles on Indians, and I've never really had an instance where I've had to have a dealer for a hard repair. I've had to have a tire replaced, things like that, but never
consumable item.
Yeah. I've not had an instance where I had a hard breakage and I had to have an Indian dealer to go and repair it. So, I just jinxed myself. I'm knocking on wood here, but I've not had to have that. So, the other thing too, if you look proportionally at the volume of Indian versus Harley, there's probably proportionately about the same number of dealerships out there, right? So I think as the brand grows, I think you'll start to see that dealer network expand.
Yeah, well, let's see. Harley has roughly about 500 dealers nationwide in the continental U.S., not including Hawaii, Puerto Rico, or any of the territories, and Alaska. Just the continental U.S. Is about 500 dealers nationwide. I'm not sure how many Indian has. We can ask Google. Google knows everything.
Yeah, Google knows everything.
Except my wife, she knows more than Google.
Well, I bet Mel agrees.
There you go. How many Indian dealerships you cuts out the others? Let's see. There are 206 Indian motorcycle dealerships in the United States as of October 6, 2025.
All right. So 41% of the Harley number, 41%.
Yeah.
So what are the sales in comparison? Numbers to numbers. How many bikes did Harley sell? How many did Indian sell?
Well, Harley sales, I did the reporting on their first quarter, were drastically down from last year, just from the first quarter. And last year's final numbers, end of year, were down from the previous year. And it's not the fact that Harley riders are aging out, because their core group is the same as Indians, the 40 to 60-year-olds and plus. Problem is, Harley's pricing themselves out of business.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, Indians aren't cheap either. I will say that. Chris knows. He just bought one.
Do I regret it? No, I don't. But I did just send you a folder of a file of all the Harley Davidson dealers. Now some of these dealerships have actually closed on the Harley Davidson side. This is 2025 at the beginning of the year. And some Indian probably have had some reduction too. But as you can see, the dealer network is getting a lot better.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. That's actually eye-opening to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Now
Corey's on. Corey says that there are 603 Harley dealerships to 206 Indian. So that would be about a 34% Indian to Harley ratio.
Well, I mean, if you look at the Cincinnati area where we live, let's see, we got Cincinnati, we got what's the one in Florence? Was that High Stakes? You got the one in Eastgate. These are Harley Davidson, by the way.
Yeah,
right.
Queen
You got Pony Keg up there by Mason. I know I'm missing another one. Oh, there's one Sin City and Cincinnati. What's that?
Seven Hills.
Yeah, Seven Hills is the one in Eastgate. Yeah. So there's like 5 in Cincinnati, one Indian dealer. I mean, basically. But if you just go 45 minutes down the road, there's an Indian dealer in Lexington. There's an Indian dealer in Louisville. There's an Indian dealer. There's actually 2 or 3. Actually, I think there might be 2 in Cincinnati. I mean, Indianapolis. I'm sorry, Indianapolis. And there's none in Dayton, but there is 2 in Dayton. Columbus, Ohio. So, yeah, I mean, they're growing. I mean, they're getting out there.
yeah, which is good. That's a good sign. That really is. But if you look at, I'm an East Coast guy. And I travel the East Coast. If you look at, Florida, the whole coast is covered, right?
Yeah.
Georgia, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Then you got, South Carolina, North Carolina, a couple, Virginia, a couple, Maryland, and you go up the coast. But if you look in Jersey, there really isn't anything there. New York State, there really isn't anything. On that whole East Coast, it's mostly Florida and the northern Midwest, where high concentration, and Northern California is a high concentration, and Southern California.
I do want to give this image credit. This is some gears and gadgets on YouTube, by the way.
Right on. That took a lot to do to
yeah, that's a lot of work. So visit his channel. Yeah.
But
I
that's
don't know him personally, but I just remember watching the video. So,
yep. And look at South Dakota. There's 2 in South Dakota. Well, there's also 2 Harley Davidsons in South Dakota too. But there's not a lot of riding in South Dakota and Wyoming.
Yeah, if you see that out there, there's a lot of mountains there.
And they get a lot of snow.
Yeah, a lot of snow, and there's no cities. It's just that's the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the dealerships are certainly centric to the population. Where the people are in the eastern half is more population dense than the west. So this map kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah, it does. It does. But it'd be kind of it's like when you look at a McDonald's. within 2-3 miles, there's a Burger King.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Why is that? It's competition breeds,
Mhm.
you know.
And you can also oversaturate a market. Like I think Cincinnati is kind of that way. I think they're fighting every day
Mhm.
to sell motorcycles, and I think that's where the dealerships are getting hurt a little bit, especially when slumps and sales like recently been. And a lot of people don't understand. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about. Um, one of the first things I wanted to talk about is somebody did a video and they said, well, Indian since 2021 has been down 21%. Okay. You know what's been up almost as much as that is interest rates. So that's one of the things I would not buy a motorcycle with, because I went in there and they were like, oh, 14%, 12%.
Yeah.
You know, I'm used to like 7, 6 and stuff like that. But there was a time which the interest rates are really starting to come down now, which that might make a buying season next year. They're looking maybe have interest rates drop maybe 6 times next year. So that's going to be a buying market again. Maybe some refinancing too, because some people are underwater with these motorcycles, especially with some Harley Davidsons, I understand. And that's one thing that kind of hurts Harley Davidson, because they have their own financial institution and they try to collect on these motorcycles, but these motorcycles ain't on the road. They're in people's garages. They're in the base. Yeah, they're everywhere. Yeah, it's hard to get them, so.
Yeah, you're talking about interest rates, Chris.
Yeah.
I ended up with 5.49
Mhm.
on this last go around, and I hate to finance anything, but so I started checking around to see if I could beat that rate, and everybody was 2 points or higher than that 5.49. So,
Wow.
Everybody's 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9. To your point, I saw some stuff that was high as 12 and 13%. So, that's definitely going to put a damper on people buying motorcycles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, Harley, guaranteed, you could have an 850 credit score. They're going to come at you with 10%.
Yeah.
For Harley Davidson financing.
Yeah.
10%.
All right. So I got some advice for people that are maybe looking for a motorcycle. Okay. Go with the bank go back to the bank that you're actually buying, right? I mean, actually paying payments on right now. So like I was with a bank, okay, that I got my loan on with Indian, and Indian, the dealership, they have like agreements where they can actually buy interest rates up.
Yes.
And they get paid, if you stay in that loan for 6 months. So if you're at a dealership and you ask them, hey, can I, if I find a better rate next week, is it okay if I refinance? If they say 6 months, that means they actually paid to have your interest rate up.
Yep. Well, in the state of Connecticut,
it
is legal for dealerships to mark your interest rate up 3%. So
that's crazy.
Let's say I got approved for a new motorcycle at 10%, right?
Mm-hmm.
They'll come at me, hey, great news. We got you approved for 13%. As soon as you sign that paperwork and you take delivery of that bike is sending that dealership a check for that 3% difference.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the dealerships make money.
Yep.
That's why when I bought my Mazda, they're like, hey, great news. We got you approved at this rate. I said, yeah, let me see the bank's offer. Well, here it is. No. That's on your paperwork. I want to see the bank paperwork. I want to see the percentage they offered, because I know it's legal for you to up at 3%. And at that point, he's like, well, I can't show you that. I says, okay, I'm leaving. We walked out.
That's one of the things and I think, Les got a good deal because he was with the same bank I am, but I went personally with my actual bank that I was with, which is the same as his, and I got a better rate than the dealer. And the dealer wasn't even giving me any, because they had a loyalty, little clause, and also if you put some banks have like a 0.5% if you get direct deposit and that kind of stuff. It's going to save you some money. I mean, I know it's a hassle, but the way technology these days are, you could push money to account and it'll go and make your payment every month, and you don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So,
but
every little bit saves, and I know.
So do you think Indian motorcycles going forward will come out with their own financing like Harley does?
I don't think so. I think there's a lot of issues there because they would have to do financing for everything. Because if you just do for motorcycles and somebody defaults on that loan, then they're stuck with it. But if they have like house, realty, all kinds of different loans, then I think it'd be better for them. I think with Harley just being, bike finance, it could they would have to write off a lot of debt each year,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, even like Can-Am, when my wife bought her Spider, Can-Am had a promotional rate, but it was not through Can-Am. It was through a financial institution. So they had somebody handle that piece for them.
Mhm.
So, as big as Can-Am is, they didn't even handle their own financing piece.
That could be smart too because it protects them. But at the same time, if they finance their own motorcycles, they're making money from the sale of the motorcycle plus the financing portion of it.
Mhm.
And let's face it, a $30,000-$40,000 motorcycle at 10% over a 6-7 year period, that's quite a bit of change.
Absolutely.
Now
where did Chris go?
I don't know. I think he says, I'm done. I'm out. Maybe he went to go dry off from the Charahola. I don't know. Oh, he's back.
I'm sending him a text to find out where he went.
Well, I was trying to get into the chat. It says I had to log in, but it signed me right out.
Holy smokes.
I know, it's crazy.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
I'm over here now.
2-4. What's going on in Nova Scotia?
Nova Scotia. Hello.
Yep.
Hey.
And we got Shane coming in from New Zealand. We are international tonight, boys.
Hey, Nova Scotia. Isn't that where the Oak Island guys are at? I got to ask, are they ever going to find anything?
Actually,
Yes,
I saw a
they did.
report they did. They did. They I don't know exactly what they found, but they found something that was made it all financially worthwhile.
Okay.
Yeah,
I hope
understand
so.
is they did find it all.
I'm tired of watching that show, and I'm not finding anything but buttons and chunks of wood. So they better find something fast.
Yeah.
There's
No,
two
they
main-
said they found something. It's a treasure that goes back to the Templars.
Ah, sweet. I'm sorry, Chris. What were you going to say?
Somebody asked about why hasn't Carol made a statement. One of the guys did make a statement about buying Indian. I can't quote it right now. I'll look it up, but he did say that he's very interested in the Indian brand. He knows it's been there because this company buys a lot of heritage companies that has been around for a long time, and to make them bigger and stronger and make them independent is one of the big things that they do. So
yep. But we can all agree that exciting times are coming for Indian motorcycles, and therefore exciting times coming for Harley Davidson motorcycles and for the community in general, with the King of the Baggers race, with that always flip-flopping every year or every other year between what was it, Harley on top or was it Indian on top? And now we got real ownership. I'm going to say it. I just said it, coming in, taking over Indian motorcycles that has a vested interest to seeing the brand actually become a more than a heritage or historical name, but for now and into the future.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm a company and I've got 90% plus stake in something that I just bought, I have a vested interest in making sure that it is
Profitable.
viable, and profitable for the foreseeable future. So, I can't imagine, these guys are coming in with any kind of vision that it's not going to work.
So Jamin Rooney says he heard that this company dismantles companies they buy and sell them off a piece at a time.
You heard wrong.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've never heard
I've
that
done
about
tons
Carol
of
at all.
research on these guys. Yeah.
And you work for, parent company is your company, right?
What's that? That doesn't work for
Don't
that
you
company,
work for the private investment group?
No,
Or are
no, I don't. I've worked in several businesses that were acquired and or assisted by a private investment.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
Chris, to your point, no, I've not heard that they dismantle anything. They've never sold an asset. Is
Yeah,
my
so I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, because they own, like I said, they own Revzilla, they own JP Cycles, they own Cycle Gear, a couple more companies I can't think of off the top of my head right now that they own the 90% of the stake into, and that are doing quite well.
Mhm.
I mean, JP Cycles is doing well. I mean, same thing with Revzilla and Cycle Gear. I mean, those are like the three biggest online. Well, Cycle Gear also has storefront motorcycle part slingers. So they do this, sling parts.
Mhm.
I mean, they have massive warehouses. They ship out all over the country and all over the world. Now you got them coming into the manufacturing of a motorcycle that I could see nothing but good things coming from it. And the new CEO is a motorcycle person. He's been there, done that with Harley Davidson for many years, with Vance and Hines for many years, which is a great company for aftermarket exhaust. They make exhaust for not just themselves, but for a lot of other companies that put their own heat shields on it with their own badge.
Yeah. So, when you look at everything in totality, and you're just talking about the CEO, he has a lot of experience in the aftermarket piece, and that's really, I think, where Indian's kind of lacking, from Harley Davidson, whether it's in the clothing or whether it's in accessories and customization of the bike. I'm hopeful that this new CEO will see that and bring some things out and really expand the aftermarket piece. And two, the guy's a biker, right? He understands biking. He understands the market
and the community.
Yeah. So, I think
What a concept. Bring a CEO and a motorcycle company that understands the community.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So, I don't really see anything overly negative here. So,
And the stuff that you hear out there on YouTube and stuff, I'm sorry, I just want to get this point before we go past it. It's all clickbait, man. They get you to watch their video so you can subscribe, and they act like they know what they're talking about. Half these people don't even know what they're talking about.
I mean, I sort of made my thumbnail kind of clickbaity.
You're good. You're good.
I mean, it said Indian Motorcycles canceled and ghost letters over it. I mean,
Well,
but
you're talking
it's
about
not,
it, man. You're
because
talking about it.
Polaris canceled
Yeah.
or / sold the brand.
Hey,
Not the whole brand, but 90% of it.
hey,
Or
that's what we do, right? But we're having honest conversation in here. There's some people out there that have no idea what they're talking about, and they're saying doom and gloom, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And
and
kind
I'm
of
a
stuff.
pro Harley guy. I really am.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for Indian
Mhm.
because it will push Harley Davidson Motor Company
mhm.
to innovate, to come out with a better product,
Mhm.
to come out with some cool new technology that nobody has thought of yet. And same thing with Indian. It's going to push Indian to come out with a cool new bike with some cool new technology, just so each one will fight to have the edge over the other.
Mhm.
And what does that mean for us, the consumer? Cool new bikes to play with and enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Better bikes overall.
I mean,
On both
prior
sides.
to 2014, who would have thought that you would have a touchscreen
Mhm.
Yeah.
and a built-in nav?
And
to
the headlights
2014.
changed. Instead of them too.
Man, I
Road
grew
glide,
up-
man.
I grew up on bikes that had mid controls, no fairing, analog gauges, and you got bugs in your face. I mean, that's just the way it was. So,
Hey, bugs in your teeth is protein. That's free
Yeah.
protein.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, on my way out to Tennessee, we were living the biker folklore, May the sun never set in your face. When we were racing sunset, we were watching the sunset going
Yep.
across 81 in Virginia into Tennessee. And let me tell you, Big Mike said it at one of the rest stops. We're living the folklore because we are racing the sunset and we are watching the sunset happen. And the weather's behind us. The sun is setting in front of us. You couldn't get any better. I mean, there was a total of 6 of us riding out on this 800 plus mile trip. and you really couldn't get any better at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter if you were on an Indian or a Harley or a Honda, a Suzuki, or Kawasaki. To me, I don't care what you ride as long as you love what you ride, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's always going to be a little bit of jealousy, though.
Well, there's always brand bashing, but it's all meant in good fun.
Mhm.
I mean, how many of your friends, you get a new motorcycle, how many friends get a new motorcycle pretty soon after that? Yeah. Yeah.
Or you get the ones going, oh, must be nice to get a new bike.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
see, Chris is just talking about that because I bought a bike, and then a month later he bought a bike.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
That's
The
it.
Royal Enfield is the original Indian motorcycle. I
Actually,
don't know.
they're from Britain, actually.
Yeah, and I don't
Yeah.
think Royal Enfield was around in 1901.
England. Yeah. They were actually, it's 1903 or 19, I think, no, it was 1901. It was the same year, but they're from England.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will say this, the Royal Enfield is a cool bike.
Yes.
For a small displacement motorcycle, you could still get a 1960s, 1950s styling motorcycle with today's technology.
yep.
And that to me is cool. And I've always said it, one of these days, I'm going to have a Royal Enfield in my stable because I think they're one of the coolest bikes out there because their styling has not changed. It really hasn't
Yeah.
in the most part. And you could get a brand new bike for under $7,000.
Yeah. Yeah. I got close. I got a mini bike with a Briggs and Stratton on it.
So, speaking of,
Oh, it says it joking. Okay.
speaking of that, ownership of Royal Enfield. Okay, so it used to be from Britain, right? And guess what happened? They had some rough times. Well, Indian hasn't had rough times, but Harley Davidson did too. What is it? AM? What is it?
AMF.
AMF. Yeah. So they had some issues, and then an Indian company basically bought major share of them, and they mostly make their bikes in India now.
Mhm.
And look how big they are pushing in the in the United States now. I mean, they're every dealer in every city now that has a Royal Enfield, at least. Yeah. So they came back, and they're bigger than ever, and they are. I think that right now, I think they're one of the largest motorcycle companies in the world. I think they might be the largest one.
Yeah. Well, because they're very cost effective. I won't say cheap because they're not, but they're very cost effective. You could get a good motorcycle to ride around town. I wouldn't want to take it up on the highway because what the biggest size they have, I think now is 650 cc's.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's a very light motorcycle that I wouldn't want to take it on any interstate or take it on a 200-300 mile trip in one direction. But it'd be great to buzz around town, maybe go back and forth to work on. I think it'd be great. Dave, I have not ridden a Royal Enfield. I have not. Believe it or not, as much as I admire them and want one, I've never ridden one.
I've never ridden one either, or one of the Moto Marinis. I've looked at the Marinis quite a bit, but never ridden. Neither ridden either.
Royal Enfield. My friend has one, and he loves it. He's actually had a couple. Tracy, and he loves them.
Yeah,
but he is a little guy too.
With anybody other than themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, who are they competing with? What other brand can they compete with? They only go up to 650 cc's. Their adventure bike is very small and not something you want to take on a long adventure with any of the motorcycles. I mean, they really have their own little niche and they stick to it and they're happy there. Well, with them being so cost effective, they sell more.
Sure. Well, someone who's just getting into the motorcycling sport community, 6 or 7 grand is a lot more palatable than a $30,000, Challenger. So it's a lot easier to get into.
or a $30,000 Street Glide or Road Glide,
Mm-hmm.
or a $28,000 Road King.
Mm-hmm.
We and Les went to the King of the Baggers in Road America.
Mm-hmm.
When we was coming through Chicago, there was actually a Royal Enfield truck in front of us, and the
No
back of it
kidding.
said since 1901. So I had to look it up, and this is a fun fact for you guys. So Indian was the first American motorcycle company established in 1901. Royal Enfield was since 1901 because that's what they put on their truck, and their slogan is "Made like a gun." Oh, jeez.
And here's Kelfire. Doc said Road Kings, Road Kings roll. He's got a beautiful Road King.
Oh yeah, they're beautiful bikes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, to me, if you don't get off your motorcycle, walk away and not turn around and admire it,
Mm-hmm.
you bought the wrong motorcycle.
100% agree.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was in a garage at lunchtime looking at mine.
I get off my bike no matter where I am, no matter which bike I take, whether it's my Softail or my bagger, no matter where I am, I get off the bike and I have to stop and admire it because I still can't believe that is mine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's the banks. They just let me have it for a monthly payment. But I can't believe that this lives on my property and I have the right to take it anytime I want. And I'm just overwhelmed with it. That it's, you know, I love my motorcycles. And I know people sit there and says, yeah, it's just a bike. I don't care. Well, you bought the wrong bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
You know,
Some people buy bikes just because of peer pressure, right? Because your friend got one, you might not know how to ride very well. You know, you figure it out really fast when you ride with them that they can ride a motorcycle.
yeah. I tell you, I like the guys who buy a bike.
Mm-hmm.
They pull it out of the garage at barbecues and picnics, and they sit around drinking beer around it and sitting there talking about these great rides he wants to do. And, 2 years later, the bike's got 100 miles on it and they sell it.
Yep.
I love those guys because they ate all the depreciation on it.
Yeah. I don't know what that's like. I picked up this Pursuit in July and I've turned over 8,000 miles already on it. 81, almost 8,200 miles. So
yeah,
I don't buy them to sit. I buy them to ride and consume.
Yep. My buddy EJ bought that beautiful Raven Fade CVO Road Glide just over a month ago, and he's about ready to hit 5,000 miles on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good for him. Good for him. Seriously, that's why they make them. They make them to ride, and I don't understand. The bikes that people buy and 3, 4, 5 years in, they've got 1,500 miles on them. I just don't get that. I really don't.
No, and unfortunately, most of my riding is going to and from work, which is just under 40 miles a day. Because when I get home from work, I got to go work in the garage on bikes.
Yeah.
But I enjoy working on bikes as much as I do riding them. So when I get a chance to ride, we go out for a ride. Like not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, I'm doing a fall foliage ride, which will be nice. We got a meat spot plan, we got a breakfast spot plan, and we got the ride plan. And it's going to be a nice ride up into Massachusetts, and it's going to be a great time.
So speaking of riding,
yeah.
Me and Les went down to the Dragon on one weekend, and I've never rode it on a motorcycle, so he let me lead, and it was really fun. So we didn't slow down at all. We went pretty fast, and we thought, wow, this is great. This is the best ride in a while. I know the Dragon's kind of overrated a little bit. Well, this last weekend we went to, what is it called? The
Devil's Triangle.
Devil's Triangle.
Nice. To me, that's a better road. Yeah. Well, I'm going to answer this question, real stuff. Random stuff with Joe. We're going up Old Route 8 into Otis, Mass, and just past that. That's where we're headed. If you want to join in, meet us. We're meeting in Torrington at the Cumberland Farms on South Main Street at 9 a.m. on the 25th. You're more than welcome to join us.
Nice.
Yeah, very
That's
nice.
awesome.
I wish we were closer. I'd join you.
Yeah, I would too.
Well, hey, if you leave Friday morning,
Not to be back Sunday. That's an iron butt.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
you can do it. Hey, Rhodey and Corey did an iron butt on the way back from Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. So Maine riding's pretty much over, right? Getting close. I mean, if you want to ride in, does it snow up there a lot or what?
I'm in Connecticut, so
Connecticut.
I don't put my bikes away.
Okay.
I'll sit there and put stable in the gas, just to preserve the gas, because there might be a few weeks where we got some snow and sleet and salt and sand on the roads and that chemical. And we're normally on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, I'm out riding because it's historically the past 10 years, it's been beautiful out.
Nice.
So, I'm going riding,
Yeah,
as long as it's north of 38 degrees, I'm riding.
Yeah, they're actually predicting a harsh winter here in northern.
I heard that last year too.
Yeah, so we'll see how that works out. Now that we rode every month of the year, so we're my wife and I are like you. If the weather's decent, there's no salt and sand on the road, we'll go out on the bikes and ride. So the cold doesn't bother us as much.
I think that'd be a good challenge there, Les. Maybe we can do what Aaron did last year. Get all our friends around here to how many miles can you put in a month, and for the winter season, and see who wins at the end. Each of us put like $50 in the pot, and then the person who puts the most miles at the end wins the money.
I'm winning. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to win that. I'm winning that.
You don't understand how dedicated this guy is. Nobody will actually play because of this guy.
Sounds like Rhodey.
Rides
all the time, all year. I mean, my wife and I, we got caught in the snow one time on the bike.
Yeah.
We were going to an event. I was a member of the Combat Vets Motorcycle Association, and they had an event. They're raising money, and we're going. Well, part of the name is motorcycle. So we're taking the bike. If we're the only ones there on a bike, I look around going, what? And then on the way home, it starts to snow. Well, what are you going to do at that point? You just go home.
Yeah.
Take your time. Go slow. I have to look that up. The Cabot Trail in Mass. That sounds good. Is that with the Cabot Cheese Factory? If so, I've done that, and I'll definitely do it again. And of course, here's Jack down in Texas. What's winter? What's snow? You know what snow is. He was born in New Jersey. Come on.
Mm-hmm. He knows. Salty Badger actually says, I prefer cold weather riding over hot weather to an extent.
Well, because the motors run so much better. Air is denser when it's cold, so you get a lot more oxygen. You get a better burn. I'm nerding out on mechanics here.
The bike actually runs better. But I used to say I would take 90 degrees over 50 degrees anytime. As I've gotten older, I'll take the 50 over the 90. It's just
I've ridden the Mohawk Trail. Yes, that is a nice ride. That is a really nice ride. Let's see. But I wasn't born in the don't lie. And no swamp ass in the colder weather either.
Yeah. Evil Rick makes a good point. He says, I usually ride till the salt hits the roads. That's kind of what it is around here. If there's no salt or sand on the road, we'll get out and ride. But once the salt's on the road, that's when we kind of hang it up and wait for that to clear up.
Yeah.
I agree.
And but exciting times coming for Indian motorcycles and the Indian motorcycle owners. Do you guys own stock in Indian at all?
I do not. I should. I don't.
From what I understand, their stocks skyrocketed
Polaris
today. of course, with the announcement of the sale. So if people who owned stock in Indian motorcycles today, they make quite a bit of money. Good for them.
Yeah.
Probably made it up to buy 3 or 4 of them.
Well, I mean, they were struggling on their off-road, part of their deal. Their sales were stagnant. Okay. So they need to invest in some of that stuff. And the way the sales are in the whole entire category, it's going to be hard. So they had to figure out where they're going to place their money in for, upgrades and stuff like that. And they felt that they couldn't share all that money with Indian and their off-road division, the snowmobiles, and all that kind of stuff. So they decided, this is the best option for both companies. We don't want Indian to die, but let's put them in the hands of a different company, entity that's going to create where they can actually focus. So now here's what happens. Okay. So Indian has all these ideas and they got to put it to the Polaris Industries, board and that kind of stuff. And they're on a stack of everybody else's too. And they're looking, okay, this is our budget this year. Well, let's cut this on Indian. Let's cut this one on off-roads. We got to really invent this. Did you see what our competitors brought out? We got to work on this one. And then Indian gets farther and farther in the stack because they're only 7% of the sales. So people just don't realize this is actually a very good thing for Indian. If they do it right, it's gonna make a competitor with them in about 4, maybe 6 years if they do it right. I mean, it's not gonna be immediate. You're not gonna see immediate impact.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say 3 years.
Okay.
So, but before 2030, you're gonna see a changing of the guard of the American motorcycle. The number one American motorcycle sold will be Indian. And we'll have a vast dealer network. I'm calling it right now. Everybody mark this day. I'm calling it right now. So
I'm marking it right now. I'm taking a picture of I'm screenshotting my phone right now.
Yeah, because I believe that with this new parent company, the Indian motorcycle brand will grow within 3 years beyond what they expected and beyond Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson is going to have to take a real hard look at themselves and say, whoa, where did we go wrong? What happened? Because there's always been the battle between Harley and Indian since 1905, let's say, of who was the number one brand in the United States. Was it Indian? Was it Harley? And it was back and forth between the flat tracks, the murder drones, domes, and, what won on Sunday sold on Monday. And that's the honest truth. And I was saying in 3 years, with honest, nothing but good leadership for the company, it could succeed beyond Harley Davidson.
Yep. And
Harley Davidson will find themselves in even more hot water than they are now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can't. Here's the Chevy did this a couple months ago. You know how truck prices went so high and everything else, and then they just dropped the rebates like they used to, like probably about 6 years ago, where they did like $7,000 rebates or $7,000 off plus a $3,000 rebate. If you buy a $57,000 CBO, and then next year it's $10,000 less, are you gonna piss off your your riders? Hell yeah, you are.
Yeah.
So
my 2022, I went to go trade it in earlier this year. I paid $50,000 for it. They sat there. No, that dealership I don't work with anymore. They looked at me and said, "Oh, we'll give you $28,000."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What?" Well, it's highly modified. It'd be hard for us to sell. I said, "No problem. I have every original stock part I took off. I'll put back on the bike." And then in the same sentence, after I said that to him with a straight face, "Well, then you won't get as much on trade-in."
Wow.
Which is
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know what though? All the mods I've ever done to my bike, they never really considered that on a trade. It's just been what is the bike, what is the make, what is the model, and here's what it's worth from a book value standpoint. So I've never really made anything off of a modified bike.
Mhm.
No, and if you think you will, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Unless you're building, like Jesse James or any real bike builder who builds you a custom motorcycle from the ground up, you're going to make good money on it. But from the first buyer to the second buyer, you're not going to make any money selling it.
Yeah, agreed.
Even if you left it alone.
Yeah, I gotta. I'm trying to get in the chat because it's not letting me in there. So I'm gonna
Well,
try to go back
Tito-
on YouTube
Well,
here.
the Good Baby says Harley Davidson stock right now is at $28.69. I saw it up here where the stock prices for Polaris right now is $65.99.
Yeah,
Wow.
crazy.
It's really interesting. Oh, Bry the Biker's in the house. What's going on, Bry? Good to see you. Thank you for joining in tonight, Mr. Bry the Biker.
Bryce says all the cool kids are getting gold wings.
Yep. Well, he's going to be upset because I hear the brand new 2026 Goldwing is coming with a Starbucks coffee maker
Oh, shit.
and a vibrating seat for the rider.
Yeah. So, Bry the Biker was on our podcast. What, Chris?
Bry's a great dude. I love Bry.
Yes,
to death.
great interview.
Yeah, we had a good time with him. He said he'd gone to the dark side and he got a gold wing. So I said, "You're officially a winger dinger."
Oh,
But no disrespect, Matt. We like to give each other a hard time, and we have fun.
Absolutely. He says he's going to BMW because it comes with the Stanley.
was it a Stanley toolbox?
No, a thermos.
A thermos? I think it's a toolbox.
Evil Rick says he'll keep his espresso machine on his Goldwing. He's got a nice Goldwing trike.
Oh man,
I got to see it a couple times over at the Mob in the Mountains, which, guys, I hope you can make it out this year. Mob in the Mountains 2026 in West Virginia.
Yep.
It's going to be a great time. We'll hang out a lot and drink a lot of beer and tell some lies and, just have some fun.
yeah, it sounds like a great time. I've actually put it on my planner 2.5. So I have a big desk calendar that we write everything on in pencil. So I have that, the Smoky Mountain Bike Week, the next Jack Daniels ride, several different rallies on there. So we're planning on trying to get down there at least a day or two next year.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hope you could bring Max out.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't think he watches this, so I'll go ahead and say this. He has a seat on the back of my motorcycle if he wants to.
I think giving Max a hard time. We're in Tennessee. Where's Max?
And he can ride it backwards, and he can have a camera in his hand, so he can.
Yeah,
watch
that's what I said. I said Max can ride on my bike if he wants to, as long as he wears a wig and sits backwards.
There you go. And fake boobs. Gotta have the fake boobs.
That's great.
Hey, today's day and age, it's okay.
No, it's not okay. So, Max does not have a bike yet, and he's going to make a decision. My understanding, Chris, is what, next month, whether or not he's going to buy one.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yep.
Yeah, nice.
So he's going to make a decision. I know he's been eyeballing several bikes and been looking at them. So I think that he probably will. So this next year, maybe he'll be in tow. Maybe he'll join.
Thank you, Jack. I really appreciate you for your support. Love you to death, brother. Thank you so much. Now, is it me, or when my friends buy new motorcycles, I get excited like I'm actually getting a new motorcycle? Is it me, or is that you guys as well?
No, you know what? I'm pretty happy with what I have and where I'm
at.
Well,
I'm not saying that. I'm saying when my friends will get a brand new motorcycle, I'm so excited for them. I feel like I'm getting a new bike, but I'm not.
You're getting a new friend, right? Because they're gonna be riding with you a lot.
I'm actually excited for them. I was excited when Chris bought this brand new Pursuit because I came off with 3 different Roadmasters and went to the Pursuit. And I'm like, hey man, this is the best bike I've ever had. You gotta check us out. You gotta take a look at it. And I think he agrees now that he has it. It's probably the best bike he's ever had. So,
Oh yeah. Yep.
I'm really excited for him.
Yep. And John is right. I was excited when he got his 24 Blue Burst Road Glide. I was so excited for him. And I still am, that he's got this beautiful bike. I mean, it's a great color. And he is one of those guys. I am leaving the bike stock and I'm not doing anything with it. It's literally, he put a cup holder on it and I think some bag guards and he's done.
Well,
good for him.
Yeah, I do like the new Harley Road Glides, and I also, I like their technology. I really do. I'm a very technology kind of person. I'm always help everybody else with setting up their cameras, their mics, and that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm just technology driven. I think Harley, really done a good job with them new Road Glides with the what is it called, the Skyline software,
the
and
Skyline
stuff like that.
OS.
Yep. So, I mean, I test
rode
one.
Its issues.
One of the things that I felt, because I'm 6'3", is I was pretty cramped on that motorcycle. Maybe a seat would have helped me out, but I think the stock, and I think that's where another thing that Harley is kind of missing out, and they can't really do anything about it because they got so many aftermarket manufacturers. They don't really want to piss them off, right? They don't want to drive them to Indian. Is they need to give them some more bells and whistles for the money, like locking, bags in the back.
Saddlebags instead of buying a CVO.
Yeah,
It comes standard.
Yeah, there's so much stuff you can do better. I mean, they're already charging $2,000 for a paint job, right? So a CVO's
two,
or up to 5, yeah. And you can, I think that's where the stages come in. Like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. And I think you should be able to possibly buy a motorcycle without having a dealer modify it. Have a stage 2 on the floor. You're going to pay $50,000 for. But I think it's to have standard locks and all that kind of stuff. So,
well, here's an interesting point you bring up, right?
Mm-hmm.
While I was at Smoky Mountain Harley, I was looking around at their inventory just to look, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they had a street glide in there that was for sale with a 131.
Mm-hmm.
And a guy was looking at it and he looked at the price and went, whoa. I said, that's because you're paying for 2 motors.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. He goes, the salesman goes, well, how do you figure that? I said, well, when you got this bike, it came with a 117.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, yeah. Are you going to give him that 117 with the sale of that bike? Or what did you do with it?
Mm-hmm.
He goes, oh, I don't know. That's a good question. So with the price of that bike, you're paying for the 2 motors plus the labor and all the small parts that go in with putting that 131 in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And and he goes, well, I think they just did a top end on it. I says, okay, so you're going to give them the jugs, the pistons, the heads, and throttle body, throttle injectors, and all that with it, because he paid for that with the original price of the bike.
Mm-hmm.
And then you did all of this without asking him to charge him that.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to give him the old parts?
Did they kick you out?
No. No, actually, I had a great conversation with the salesman and the sales manager. And I told him, look, I'm not buying. I'm not buying. I'm just here browsing. I like to see what other dealerships are doing to the bikes. And some of them had some great pinstriping on it. Some of them had some great artwork on it. And, the 131. And they're like, I don't know if they're going to give the original motor that came with it. I says, well, because the VIN number in that motor matches that frame.
Yeah.
So if you were to legally sell that motor and sell on somebody's bike, you have to title that motor with almost the same exact VIN number of this frame.
Well, Doc, maybe you can enlighten me on this one, because I've not built any M8s. I did several twin cams, but on a 107 M8 or a 117, right?
Yeah.
How far can you take those out without having to bore the cases out?
With a 107, you could go as far as a 128.
Okay.
And that's because of the stroke of the motor.
Mm-hmm. And that's going with a thin wall, high steel sleeve in the cylinder. Yeah.
Yep. On a 117, you could go as high as 135.
Okay. So there's enough area in the lower case without boring out the case too. Then
Correct.
okay, gotcha.
Well, what's happened? The cylinder walls are getting thinner.
Yep.
You're going to give up. You're either going to make the cases thinner,
Mhm.
or you're going to make the cylinder walls thinner.
Right. Now, when you go to a 131 or a 135 from a 117, I'm assuming you're using a high tensile steel cylinder liner in place of a cast liner. Then
I
get to
believe
that
it is.
time.
I can't say for sure.
Yeah, that's the way that they used to do the 103s to a 110s. Was they would thin out that wall.
Yep. And then they would crack.
Yep. Put a high tensile steel liner in them. So.
Yep. And those 110s were notorious for cracking.
Mm-hmm.
Either the cases would crack or the cylinder sleeve will crack.
Yep.
Now they're coming up with the 117s. I'm starting to see cracked pistons.
Oh.
Ooh,
That when the bike is running, it sounds like a collapsed lifter.
Mm.
So you go through and you do everything and you change the lifters and nope, still making the same noise. You end up tearing it down, you find a cracked piston.
wow.
Yeah. But, talking about increasing displacement, we were talking about Indian here, and Indian being sold by Polaris, right? I hear tell that there are some 112s being turned into 117s out there, and they're running 150 horsepower, 150 torque. Have you heard anything about that?
No.
Yeah. Pikes Peak is doing that right now. So
Yeah, Pikes Peak Indian.
150 square out of 117.
Yep, 117 cubic inch. Yeah. I don't know what the camshaft profile is or anything like that, but I've asked several different people, what lift duration, things like that they're putting into those. But yeah, I hear tell that they've got a 150 squared out of a 117. If you want to build a little milder version of it, they'll do a 150, 140, but it's still a 117. So Pikes Peak Indian has developed a big bore for the 112 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. That is very interesting. And Evil Rick gives up a good point. How far is too far? Think about it. Wasn't so long ago where Harley had the 80 and 88 cubic inch, and they came out the 96 cubic inch, and then the 103, and then the big tire shredder kit was the 110 cubic inch, stage 5 tire shredder kit. And now you can't get a stock bike with nothing less than a 117.
Yeah.
And the upgrades are 131 or 135.
Well, Evil Rick, how much is too far? It's never too far.
as long as you got money.
Yep. It's never too far.
Yeah, exactly. Because once you get it, somebody wants to buy it. Simple as that. You got a market for it.
Yep.
Everybody wants the best drugs, and they haven't figured them out.
Head work to get numbers like that. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
Head work is a lot of building that. It's a
Mhm.
good combination of your head work with your cam, with your compression ratio, with your bore, your stroke, whether it's a short stroke or a long stroke. Building motors for performance, it is a rocket science.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It absolutely is.
I mean, just selecting cams, I feel like I need a degree in NASA, especially today with today's motors.
Well, your camshaft will kind of dictate how that motor acts. Do you want to race from stoplight to stoplight? Do you want highway power? Do you want low end torque? You can develop that.
What do you want? Mid-range torque? Do you want top end horsepower?
Mm-hmm.
It's all user specific.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What I find is a perfect build. Les, you would say, "Man, this thing sucks."
Yep.
Chris might say, "It's okay."
Yeah, it's all in how you ride.
Everything you build, Harley. Come on, man. Everything you build is going to be freaking fantastic.
Nah, not all the time.
No, when I started doing the Harley motors, I had a guy over in Mooresville, North Carolina, that did all the machine work and the head work and the valve work, all that stuff. And before I would build anything, I'd be on the phone with him for an hour. Then he says, what do you want to do with this motor? How do you want to run? Where do you want your peak power to come in? Those kinds of things. So, you your cam selection, the head work that you do, your valve selection, your compression ratio, your displacement, all that stuff is one big, I call it a recipe to come out with an end product for what you want. If you want a cake, you bake a cake. If you want a meatloaf, you make a meatloaf, and they're two different things. You bake both of them, but they're two different completely things. So, how you build that motor and what you put into it and all those different component selections.
Yep.
I'm
working on a quote right now for Tito. He's in the side chat. And I'm having a hard time all I'm doing is quoting out a cam kit for him for his bike, which is a second gen, twin cooled Road Glide, and not variable valve timing, none of that. But I'm having a hard time finding a cam that meets his profile of how he likes to ride that will bring in the performance that he wants. I'm having a really hard time. I've narrowed it down to 2 different cams, and not one of those 2 cams I could say is 100% what he wants. And I'm going to have a conversation with him and go over the different cams and let him come with the decision. Because I have a spreadsheet that I use that I created where I put in the rider's weight, the bike weight, what RPM what RPM range they cruise at, when do they want the power to come on, how often they 1 up or 2 up. If they're 2 up, what's the weight of the second rider? It's a whole consultation. It's about an hour to an hour and a half consultation.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, like here, best cam for an M8 114, Ron. Like I was saying, it's about an hour and a half consultation for me to pick the cam for you. Now, a Star 3030 might be a good cam for one person, might not be for another person.
Yeah.
So it all depends on you and how you ride. And it's when I have a consultation with somebody, I tell them right from the get-go, this is a come to Jesus moment. This is a time you have to be the most honest with yourself and me. Because if you're not, and you tell me I like being wide open throttle in every gear all the time. Okay. 6,800 RPMs. How much do you weigh? We're going to pick a cam based off of that. Then when we build it, and you're going to sit there and says, this thing runs like a dog. Well, how often have you been wide open throttle? Never. You told me that's how you like to ride.
Well, yeah, it's going to run great at wide open throttle. That's what you wanted. You put that really long duration in there. You bring that torque curve in, to high RPM.
Where your torque and horsepower peak right before the rev limiter.
Yep.
Where it comes in slow and gradual, or do you want it to come up and be straight? It's all depending on the rider. And that's something a lot of people don't realize. And that when I sit there and I have a consultation and I tell them, hey, it's an hour and a half labor fee. If I do the work, it gets credited towards your job because I was doing this for free. And then next thing you know, I never hear from them until they're like, hey, I need an oil service done. And they got the exhaust I recommended. They got the cam I recommended. They had somebody else do the work. I'm like, I did all this work to prep you for it, and I got nothing except an oil change.
Yeah.
But we're off topic. Back to India.
You want to go? I think we have satisfied everybody.
So Doc, when do you start building some Indian motors?
Well, I can be honest with you. I've worked on some Indians. I've done bars, I've done exhausts, I've done brakes, I've done tires, and they're not mechanic friendly.
Really?
Or it's to the point that I'm so used to the simplistic design of Harley Davidson, and it is very simplistic design.
Because it's designed for aftermarket, right?
Yeah, where I can't build when I did on a Chieftain Dark Horse, I did a head pipe on it, and I had to take off half the front of the motor to get to the to the battery so I could disconnect the O2 sensor. I was like, this is stupid. You know, that I try and shy away from bringing Indians into the shop.
Interesting.
There's a couple people that are some major one percenters in this area that I work a lot with their clubs, and they have Indians, and I will work on it for them, you know, just because of who they are or what they do. And not that I'm afraid of them or anything, but just out of respect for their organization, that I won't tell them no.
Gotcha.
You know, and I mean, to me, it speaks volumes when one percenters bring their bikes to you to work on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
well, I'm going to smash this like button about 2 or 3 times here, and I'm going to get rocking and rolling. But it's been a lot of fun. I'll let you guys kind of wind up for the night.
Well, I was thinking about the same thing because my thing was going ding ding. Time to go to bed.
Yep.
that's because you're old.
No, it's because I get up at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Chris, you were on first. I'm going to give you your final. The show's not over yet, guys. But Chris is leaving. I want to give Chris and Les the final thoughts on Indian.
Yeah.
You're up, Chris.
All right. Well, I think Indian is going to be primed to do some good things in the next 4 to 5 years. You said 3, but I think if the backing is what I think it's going to be, and if they can keep their staff, the 900 staff that's there right now, because they were already doing pretty good. I think Polaris just needed some extra wiggle room, that they wanted to do some stuff, and they wanted to make sure Indian had a good foot out the door, and I think they do. So I think Indian's going to be a success. That's what I think. I mean, they got a good bike. I mean, they got a lot of good bikes. Actually, their scouts are actually outselling Harley Davidson last year. So, yeah. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Les, you're up. What's your thoughts?
Well, you know, similar to Chris, I think Indian has a lot of great things in their future. I really see this as an opportunity for them to focus on what they do and what they do best. And I'm really looking for some new innovation and great things to come out of the Indian Motor Company in the next 3 to 5 years. So I'll be keeping a close eye on it.
I think we're all going to be keeping a close eye on it. I'd like to thank you too for coming on and sharing your wealth of knowledge with the Indian motorcycles, being, you know, enthusiasts of Indian, like I'm an enthusiast of Harley Davidson, but in all, we're enthusiasts of the motorcycle community.
I do want to say
we have
one
our
thing.
Preferred brands.
I do want to say one thing, because I was looking it up and it said the Indian motorcycles contributed about $478 million in revenue in the past year. That's roughly 7% of Polaris total revenue. So it was nothing to, to just say, let's put them on. I mean, because that's good. I mean, how many people could say they made $478 million, in revenue?
That's $500 million.
Yeah, it's $500 million. So I think
they're sitting there going, it's costing us money. Yeah, we don't need that $500 million every year.
Yeah. So I think Indian is, primed to do whatever it needs to do the next couple of years to be a success. So
yeah,
I agree wholeheartedly. I think with this new ownership or parent company, we'll call it. It's not really, it's ownership, but parent company. I think with this new parent company steering the ship with the new CEO, exciting things are in the works. I could see nothing but positives coming out of it. I could see, because you guys were talking about an Indian ride. What was that? The
Jack Daniels.
Yeah, the Jack Daniels, but you're talking about the organizations, the
IMRG.
Yeah.
IMRG, and I knew nothing about that, and that's like Hog. And that's pretty cool that they have that, and that's awesome because that's building a community within your brand.
Yeah, the IMRG though welcomes all riders. So if you show up on a Spider, a Honda, a Harley, or an Indian, you're absolutely welcome to ride with them to all of the events and all the rides. So, it's a little bit different. I've seen some of the hog rides where they've said it's a Harley only. So again, the IMRG rides tend to be all inclusive, and if you're riding, they don't care. Show up as you are, and whatever you're on. Show up on a moped if you want, as long as you can keep up.
So Les, with Heather going down there, what was the biggest comment of her Spider? What was it?
Oh man, I don't know. She had so many people.
Hey, how you like that? You love that thing? I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
man, I want to get one of them.
I used to ride with somebody in the CDMA. She had one, and she says, they say you can't flip these. I'm like, really? Give me the keys. She goes, no, because if everybody's going to do it, it'll be you.
Oh, you know what?
That's funny, yeah.
Yeah, on the
challenge accepted.
Well, on the Devil's Triangle, Heather actually set off her vehicle stability system and threw it into error mode because she was riding it so hard. On that Devil's Triangle, she did.
Yeah. She had 2 Harley riders behind her.
Yeah, and she says, "I'll be damned, they're not going to pass me." She rode the living crap out of that thing.
Good for her.
And set off the stability system. She had an error code by the time we got to the bottom. So
yeah, well, Heather's a badass.
Don't tell her that. That'll go to her head.
She's a badass. I mean, come on.
Hey, I'll tell you what. She's been hanging out with me for 30 years plus.
She's a saint.
Yeah, she's a saint and she's a badass. No doubt about it. So, all right, man. I'm gonna rock and roll. I'm off of here.
Thanks for inviting us tonight. I think it was good chat.
Anytime.
We can do this more often.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, man.
All right, you guys have a good night.
Yeah.
See you guys on the channel.
Yep. See ya.
Keep this guy straight.
So, good. Everybody in the side chat, are you guys excited as much as I am for Indian? I'm not an Indian guy. I'm a Harley guy, heart and soul. I'm a Harley guy. But I'm excited for Indian because of what they're going to be doing for the community with this new leadership and this new CEO, that the community as a whole will benefit from this whole move that's happening. I'm really excited about it. I hope you guys are too. Well, everybody here is saying good night. I wasn't planning on ending this, but if you guys want to go, that's okay. I understand. But yeah, see, even Greg says, yes, he is. It's going to be interesting. That it is. I mean, as long as they stay in business, they'll keep Yes, they will. And I have a feeling they'll stay in business. I really do. Like I said, in 3 years, Harley Davidson is going to be put on notice by Indian because of their leadership. Their CEO will sit there and heads will spin. Oh, what's up, man? Good to see you, Andrew. Mr. DePaulo, good to see you. But yeah, Indian is going to put Harley on notice. I say in 3 years. Throttle and Iron says 5 years. So it'd be really interesting to watch and see how this all goes. Yeah, good night to the guests. Right on, Tiger. Let's see. I'm sorry, but if HC is hurting, Indian doesn't have a chance. Yep. The more brands, the better. I agree, Brian. I agree. And that's where I think where Indian is now going to be its own entity, no longer under Polaris. They will thrive, and they will push Harley to thrive. Hopefully this new CEO at Harley will help grow the brand, where the previous CEO didn't help grow the brand. It growth in other ways with, the live wires, the Serial One bicycles, which we have one of those. I honestly don't see Harley Davidson doing a bad thing, All right, you got to go, Greg McBee. Okay, Cupcake. Yes, 4 a.m. comes early for you. Have a great evening. I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. As you said, it was a great show. That's what HD did to Livewire. Yeah, spun them off on their own company. Harley still owns a portion of Livewire. You thought we were okay? No worries. Let's see. Well, I think HD has now acknowledge that their pricing is hurting them more even than the economy is. I think Indian will lower prices as well. That would be interesting to see. That'd be very interesting. I like I said, the next 3 years is going to be quite the change in our community as far as motorcycling and who the king of American-made motorcycles are. It'll be interesting. It will be very interesting to see the innovations that both companies will be making or should be making to stay on top. Will be awesome to watch. And we as consumers have nothing but to benefit from it. That's right. I'll say it again. We as consumers will benefit from the competition of Indian being its own separate entity again, Harley Davidson being pushed by Indian to innovate and motivate instead of being the status quo. It's going to be exciting. It really is. I can't wait to see what 2027 and 2028 brings. Can't go by 2026 because they're already designed. I got a feeling by 2030, you're going to see a whole new change in lineup in both motorcycles. Pricing will be different. The margins will be different. The quality in bikes will be different. And what you get for your money will be completely different. It's exciting times, guys. I mean, think about it. It's almost as exciting as when Harley came out with the Knucklehead, the overhead valve motor. I said it. I said it. It's that exciting. I see it as that exciting that when all this pans out and Harley gets their punch in the ass and they have to really buckle down and really innovate to stay on top of Indian, and Indian's going to do everything they can to get on top of Harley, and they're going to push each other to be on the limits that they know. We as a consumer will benefit immensely with some amazing products that'll be available from both. That is a possibility. I know they're coming out with a less than $6,000 motorcycle for 2026 as an entry-level single-cylinder bike yet again. So, let's see. Calfire says, let's see. Harley would do better start allowing people to build and order their own bikes so that they have to give up so much money on aftermarket companies and customizations. Actually, you can do that now. If you go to harleydavidson.com, select your bike and build your own. You can do that now, but it's limited. But you're talking about picking your bars, picking your seat, picking your exhaust. You remember, as a motor company and as dealerships, they have certain regulations they have to follow with EPA, Department of Motor Vehicles, and things like that. So that will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if Harley actually brings their price point back to reality. And a lot of people say, and they're not wrong, if you look at a price of a Harley from 1980 to a price of a Harley today, with inflation, it's priced the same with inflation. However, most people in the 80s and today can't afford to buy a brand new Harley. Most can't. It took me till be 40 years old to be in a job for quite some time, have multiple streams of income from the Army, my full-time job, and all that to be able to afford to buy my first Harley. And a deployment didn't hurt either. That helped me afford my first Harley. So, you never know. And Salty brings in the wrench that throws it into the gears. Buell motorcycles are growing again. Yes, they are. That's another exciting point that's coming in. Buell is coming in. They're coming in a performance line that hopefully will push the other two brands to do better as well. And therefore, Buell doing better. So it's an exciting, it really is. You got to think about it. It's an exciting time. If I'm wrong, please tell me I'm wrong. But if I'm right, and if you're thinking with me, hopefully you're just excited as I am. I know I am. Yeah. Too many limited options and too many aftermarket parts to choose from. That's correct. However, when you buy your new motorcycle and you're going through financing, you can go to the parts counter and order any aftermarket part you want and put it on that bill, and Harley will finance it for you. So that $1,200 Thunder Max tuner just cost you $5,000 over the term of the loan. Yeah, think about it. Let's see. True Salty, Buell's coming into the mix. The next few years be interesting to see what happens. Exactly. Both of the Harleys I bought were used on Facebook Marketplace, and the Road King was a steal. Right on. Let's see. No one will lower prices. They will make it look more appealing to the customer. Good point. That's a good point. They have more pizza nights because you added. Oh boy, that is funny. Let's see. Well, with everything, fees, charges, and the bill I got for Stitch for $1,000 less than the OG sticker on the bike. Oh, excellent. He got a good deal. Let's see. Bill Marvin and the owner of the Young Down to Earth to shake things up. Nice. How much do the Buell motors? There you go. How much do Buells cost? Honestly, I don't know. I don't care to know. I'm not in the market for a Buell. Eventually, like I said, I want to own a Royal Enfield. I think those are pretty cool standard motorcycles. They're by far not a rocket, nor are they something exciting, but I think that'd be a cool chopper, you know. The lowrider version was 25 or 26K. Okay. Oh, Cupcake's back, guys. Fun's over. Everybody go back to being humdrum. No. Welcome back, Greg. Welcome back. Yeah, so it's been an exciting past couple days, really, watching everything unfold with the announcements from Indian Motorcycles. Now I just wait and see what Harley has to say and what Harley's going to do, because if I'm getting this excited over it, and I'm just me, I'm nobody special. I'm just me, a Harley guy where orange and black run through my veins. I love the brand, and I'm getting excited for Indian. Can you imagine a lot of other people are getting this excited? And then there's the other opposite part where people are saying parent companies are going to come in and tear the motorcycle brand apart and sell it off piece by piece. That might happen. But knowing who this parent company owns and who they operate with, I don't see that happening. Let's see. The Buell Supercross is $25,900. Oh, okay. You want to watch an HD dealer have a meltdown by a Goldwing from them and trade your Harley in? Level of hatred was epic. Brian, I can only imagine. But at the same time, they're probably happy to see the Goldwing leave. But I'm happy for you. You got a bike that you and the missus are comfortable on. I really am. That to me is more important than you having a Harley. To me, comfort and enjoying the wind, the culture, the two-wheel therapy is better if you're happy or happier on a Goldwing than you were a Harley. Just saying. And you've been doing some great work on it, by the way. I've been following you and watching your videos. You've been doing some great work on it. Let's see. Would be cool if HD released the Bronx finally. I agree. At a decent price, but don't see them doing it. No, I don't see it either. affordable with standards and quality is key. Exactly. Let's see. We got back a few weeks later, and Katie was bragging it rode better, and I'm sure it does. It's a lot smoother. There's no vibrations from the motor. It's liquid cooled, so you're not getting the heat. It's a much more comfortable touring bike than any Harley that's on the market, you know? And I'll say it, it's a lot more comfortable touring bike. You could go forever on that bike, where at Harley you can't. You know? Hell yeah, ride what makes you happy. Exactly. That's what matters, is you're happy with what you're riding. Me, I love my two bikes. I'm very happy with them. I actually left the dealership after I was thinking of trading in my Road Glide, and we were on the bike, and about 5 minutes into the ride back, I'm thinking, well, what was I, stupid? I love this bike. Why would I want to get rid of it? It's perfect for me. And I've made some changes to it since. I put the whole shot kit on from Advan Black. I put on some T-bars, motocross style bars from SBC, just to name a few upgrades I made on that bike since I was thinking of trading it in, you know? Yep. See, Tiger's with you. Bri, you being happy is all that matters. Exactly. Doesn't matter what the dealership thought and how pissed off they were that you traded in a Harley for a Goldwing. Really, they probably figured they're going to sit on that Goldwing forever, you know? Riding on 3 says, I'm going to say my trike is better. Okay. I'm going to say that your Lowrider S from the factory is not very comfortable for long rides. It takes a little bit to get that bike set up to be comfortable. Spaceball, I got it pretty much set up to be comfortable with the stock bars. I had forward controls and a Corbin seat. I was comfortable. As soon as I put 10-inch risers on it with the forward controls, I was not comfortable. I had to go back to the mid controls, and now I'm comfortable. That's why I don't throw anything out. Just saying. That's right. Every bike has a rider comfort. Yeah, exactly. Goldwing is a luxurious. There you go. Let's see. Hey, sick bastard, how you doing? Let's see. Not sure why the HC dealer would be upset over selling a Goldwing when they can mark up that Harley. Yeah, good. That's a very good point. It's a very, very good point. Well, guys, we're at the hour 47 mark. I think I'm going to end this tonight. I hope everybody is now excited over this new acquisition of Indian motorcycles, whether you're a Harley fan, an Indian fan, a Honda fan, just a motorcycle fan, and a fan for the community, knowing that this acquisition has the potential of big things coming to our community, whether it's from Indian, whether it's from Harley, whether it's from Buell, whether it's from anybody, any manufacturer. This is a good thing. This is something that's going to shake up the market. And some people are going to feel like it's a kick in the nuts. Really. They'll feel like it was a kick in the nuts, especially Harley Davidson Motor Company. They will feel like they got kicked in the nuts in mid-year 2026. Watch. Trust me on this, because they're going to be pushing so much that, man. Okay, Bill, why? You want to come on and tell me? Yes, as XAN always says, man, rubber down, faith up, later all. Good night, XAN. Thanks for coming in and hanging out tonight. Really appreciate you. And Bri, go smash that like button. Thank you very much, Bri. I appreciate you. But I am going to end this live stream tonight because I have to go to work tomorrow. I need to wind down before I go to bed, or I won't get any sleep tonight. Boom. There you go. Let's see. That's right. They're good babies. V twins are badass. I love them. I've had inline 4s. I've had inline 2-cylinders. Now I have V twins and I love them. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Hopefully I gave you guys something to ponder, what's coming for our community. And hopefully now you're excited for it as much as I am. I know I'm very excited. I don't know if you could tell. Not a very good poker face in it. But hopefully we get the conversation started. And remember, it doesn't matter what you ride. As long as you're riding, you're in the win. Until the next time, from the bottom of my heart, and I mean it, I want you. Yeah, you. I'm looking at you. Live the best life you can. Ride often, as always. Ride hard.